All right, welcome to the Chattanooga Filmmakers Guild. I got two special guests with me today, Landon Steele and Corkey Miller. So Landon, why don't you introduce yourself? You are the founding member of Chattanooga Filmmakers Guild, is that correct?
Yeah, I founded the Filmmakers Guild back in 2019 originally, but it was originally called the Chattanooga Film Club. And we just from getting together with some friends, some actors and filmmakers, and we decided that we wanted to do this on a monthly or a regular basis and get more experience.
Right on.
And so we eventually started doing mixers on December of 2021. So we've been doing it for a couple of years now, every month, and having guest speakers like Corkey come in and talk about what they do, educate us a little bit. And of course, we have people that come just network and get to know each other. We have a gunsmith that just came here.
Really?
Yeah, he's over there in that family right there. So
I'll have to hook him up with my little brother. He's a gunsmith too.
Yeah, but he does it for film, so we're gonna.
Nice.
I'm gonna try to get him to be a
super
speaker.
cool.
So.
Cool.
Yeah, it sounds exciting.
So yeah, we've been doing that. We became a 501c3 and changed our name to the Chattanooga Filmmakers Guild. So our mission is basically to unite and strengthen the local filmmaking community. So that's really what we're trying to do here with these events, and it's been slowly but surely growing and getting more support from local filmmakers and actors. So.
Looks like it, as you can see in the background. There's quite a crowd forming.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to introduce your guest?
Yeah, this is Corkey Miller. She's going to be our guest speaker for tonight's event, and she is an animal wrangler. She trained the hedgehogs, the groundhogs in Groundhog Day.
That's a funny film.
Yeah, it's an older movie, but it's like an iconic movie, and that's pretty cool. So I'm kind of curious about your experience in that movie specifically.
Oh, boy.
And
Is Bill Murray funny offset?
He is. He's a nice guy. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's
the
cool.
thing I remember about him most was that he had this incredible memory. When we were doing that scene, the scene where the groundhogs are, the February 2nd day, where you got all the people singing and all that. And Bill Murray would walk up before we started filming, and he would walk right through the middle of the crowd, and he'd say, "What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?" By the third day, he'd be hollering out, "Hey, John. Hey, Jane. Hey, Stephen. Hey, how you doing?" I mean, he knew everybody. It was incredible, and he was super fun to work with. Super fun. I have lots of Bill Murray stories.
That's cool. That's cool. We got to hear some of those. But yeah.
Well,
What's your most memorable?
I have two favorite ones. One is so we're shooting this on the iconic scene of the groundhog on the steering wheel was probably about the fourth day in, and they actually. One of the greatest wrangling jobs I've ever had, because we had 16 groundhogs, and we actually did a lot more scenes, but for whatever reason, my best work never makes it. It's always on the editing room floor, but we had a lot of fun doing it. And they even kept us on days that the groundhogs weren't in the script, in case Harold Ramis and Bill Murray came up with something they wanted to do with the groundhog. So they were always just throwing things at us, like, "Can we do this? Can we do that?" And we're just like, yeah. So it was all good. But the day that we're shooting that scene, we're on a trailer, and the whole film crew's on there, and it's just a frame of a car, the front half of the car. It's not even a whole car. There's no pedals. There's a seat, and Bill Murray, and the steering wheel, and the dash, and the film crew's here, and I'm sitting literally between Bill Murray's legs. And when we did a 25, I'll get back to that story, but we did a 25 anniversary thing of Groundhog Day, and they invited me out to Hollywood to be one of the speakers on the panel. And I was the last one to talk, which I had to talk after the cinematographer, after the second AD, after this, and then it's the groundhog wrangler. It's like, and Mia Farrow was the MC, and so I get to the part, I tell the whole story of how I got on that movie and everything, and people are dying, they're laughing, and, I can only see two rows because of the lights, and get to the part where, and I go, and I was sitting right between Bill Murray's legs, and Mia Farrow goes, "We're going to stop right there. We're just going to stop right there, Corkey," so I had to stop, but that was when, like a couple of people from Second City that knew that knew Bill Murray came up to me and said, "Do you do stand-up?" And I was like, "No." And they go, "Man, you missed your calling." And that was kind of when the first inkling of doing stand-up came in. But anyway, so we're working on the movie. We're on this thing, and I've got 3 groundhogs, and I've got a walkie-talkie, and I'm holding the groundhog like this. And the groundhog you're seeing just sitting on the steering wheel. And groundhogs have like little tantrums. They're not patient animals, you know. So when they get pissed off, they get pissed off. And I told Harold Ramis, who was the director, I said, "Listen," I said, "if we get in a point where they're pissed off, I need to switch groundhogs, you know, because I don't want this groundhog tearing his face off. It's not going to be good for the insurance company."
So you have stunt groundhogs.
Yeah, we, and this is part of this story. We even had a stuffed stand-in groundhog that I had to go to all these taxidermy stores to find one, because you know that is not a high trophy animal. Like, most people do not stuff their groundhogs, okay? When they shoot them, they don't go and collect the body and go, "Oh, that'll look good on the mantle," you know.
That's some Jeffrey Dahmer stuff.
Yeah. So we had actually a stuff. So I'm sitting down there with this groundhog, and I'm giving it bananas. And if you look real close in the movie, you can see it's chewing on a banana, because they love, that was their chocolate. Bananas are their chocolate. And so, you know, Bill Murray is ad-libbing, you know, because the groundhog now is starting to get crazy. Like, it's going, "Ee!" and I'm holding it, you know, like this, holding his little feet, you know. And Bill Murray's going, "Don't drive angry, don't drive angry," you know. And he's going, "Look in your mirror, side to side," and all that. And he's just making this stuff up. Well, I'm going, they're right behind me, and I can see them. So I'm going, you know, like this. And so, I should have done that to the camera. Change groundhog, you know, and I'm trying not to talk over Bill Murray, but at the same time, this is panic.
Can you show the camera one more time?
Yeah.
Can you reenact?
So, what are you mouthing right there?
I need to change groundhog.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so they're like,
keep rolling.
They're loving it. You know, they're like getting all this animation out of this. And suddenly Groundhog bites Bill Murray.
Oh.
Now, he was wearing gloves, if you'll notice, which was my choice. I said, "You should wear gloves." And so he gets bit. Cut! You know, we stop the truck. He gets off the truck. He's got that long brown coat on. He walks over, and sitting on the truck is this stuffed groundhog laying there, you know, and he picks that up, and he's holding it, and he staggers, and he goes, and he falls on the grass, and he's got this groundhog at his throat, and it's going, you know, like that, and people are like, "Oh my God," you know, going by, and they stop all the traffic, and then they're letting traffic by, and he gets up, and he's got this groundhog in his coat, and he walks over, and this little old lady's driving her car, looking at all the TV stuff and getting let by, you know, and he goes, "Stop!" And then he drops that groundhog out from under his coat, and then she goes, what? And he goes, "You've killed the star." And he goes over and he picks up this stuffed groundhog, and he's cradling it in his arms, and the lady's just horrified that she killed this animal, you know, and everybody's having a great laugh at her expense, you know. But those are a couple of things that were fun. But the other really interesting thing, and I asked when I went out for the 25th annual thing, the 25th year reunion or whatever you want to call it, I asked them, when am I going to see my part in the movie? And they go, "It'll never touch the screen. It'll never see the light of day." And I said, but there's a part in the movie that never gets aired, and it's where Bill Murray has figured out that he can't die. So he's trying all these things that he's never tried before. And one of the things is he joins this biker gang. And I've got a picture of it, and he's dressed like Elvis, and he's joined this biker gang, and he asked them if I could be his girlfriend. And so they literally They literally take me into dressing and put me into a now I was cuter then, I will say that. I weighed about 110 pounds soaking wet, so I was way cuter. So they take me into the wardrobe and they put me in, like back in the 1800s, the outfit that the cocktail waitresses used to wear, like you got the black fishnets,
the big ruffled, the big,
that's bright red.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wearing.
Miss Kitty.
Okay. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, Gunsmoke.
Exactly like I'm wearing. Okay, and so I had trained a German Shepherd in that scene to be drunk and fall into a cake. So now,
how do you train a German Shepherd to be?
I taught it to weave, to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so it looks like it's staggering. And so that whole afternoon, I worked that dog in that cocktail outfit. And I think that may have been part of the plan. I'm not sure. There might be a little sexual abuse going on there, and I just wasn't aware of it because I'm really naive. But anyway, the dog has to come down, staggering. The dog's here, the camera's here, I'm behind the camera, and I'm cueing the dog. And we come around the corner, and I have to run and leap over the couch, cue the dog to fall into the chocolate cake, and then I have to fall back drunk like this. And Bill Murray's putting Doritos in my mouth. and that was the scene. And I've waited for years to see that. And I've never seen it. And
I want to see it.
I know. I want to see it too. And I asked them out there, and they go, "It'll never see the light of day. It'll never see the light of day." And I think Andy McDowell got jealous, and she just put a stop to it. She just said, "We're not airing that. I walk. If you air that woman on TV, So,
well, you heard it here. We all know that happened.
Yeah. So it really happened.
Corkey,
wow.
Backtracking a little bit, how did you become a professional animal wrangler, and how did you get into the film industry?
That is a long story, but the short version is I ran away and joined the circus.
Really? Literally?
I did.
Wow.
I did. And I used to work with a lion tamer and train lions, and he got a commercial for Conoco copiers back in early 80s when they first came out. And when I know you people young, you don't understand. Conoco copiers used to be about this big, the copiers, and 6 feet long and 4 foot wide. I mean, it took 8 men to move them, but you could take them to your office and you could copy. It was a big deal. So when Conoco copiers, and their mascot was the lion, and so we had 2 male lions. So they had contacted us, and they were going to shoot this commercial, and they had these Conoco copiers kind of in a V form, like 4 of them on each side, and they were huge. And they wanted the lion to just come walking slowly down through the middle of them. And
you are.
And we said, yeah, we can do that, And so we went to Texas and we filmed this commercial. And we were there 2 days because after the lion did that so easily, we were doing other stuff, getting them to jump up on the Conoco. And that commercial's out there somewhere. And so I got a taste for working animals in film. And in the back of my head, I was like, that was so cool, But I kept lion taming for a few more years, and we had these friends that had polar bears, true story, and they wanted a polar bear to do a commercial for polar bear drinks. I don't know if you remember that. There used to be a brand name called Polar Bear Drinks, and the idea was it was going to be a photo shoot, and the polar bear was going to just lift the drink up like this and hold it. And they were going to shoot it, just a still frame for their poster. And they would give the polar bear the bottle, but he would lay it down and drink from it on the ground. So then they tried putting a hole in the top of the cap and giving it to him and trying to push him up. And as soon as he would taste it, he would put it down. And so this goes on for like 45 minutes. And I'm not part of it. I'm just watching because my friend was there. And so I said, I said, I know it's not my place, but I have an idea. And they said, we're open to all ideas at this point. And so I said, what if we took monofilament line and we hung the bottle above the bear? And so that's what we did. So when the bear, we teased it up like a catnip on a string. When the bear went to reach for it and put its lips to the bottle, they shot all these shots, and it worked. And that was when I was really like, this is what I'm meant to do, you know? And that's how it started.
You're hired.
Wow.
I know. I was just like, I'm going to do that. And after that, like, my goal was to work for that. I quit the circus, and I started training some other animals. And then I ended up in Chicago, and I was doing, like, Boy Scout shows and Girl Scout shows. And I found out, and I was doing them for free because I had all these animals. And then people were like, well, here's $100 for coming. And I was like, oh,
I got
This is a
paid.
moneymaker.
people look. Here I am working a full-time job and doing these shows on like Saturday night, you know, and then all of a sudden it was like, I could work with animals and make money. And so I just went full-time with animals. And then what ended up happening was, like, all the catalog stores were in Chicago. Sears, Land's End, JCPenney, all them. So they found out about me, and they'd call me and go, can you bring us a baby rabbit? Can you bring us a dog? Can you bring us a kitten? Can you bring... Yeah, I can bring that. And that's how I got my foot in the door.
So how long is this? Have you been doing it now?
That was in 91 when I was
Wow.
in Chicago. So I've been doing it since then. And the Groundhog Day, let me tell you how I got that job. So that movie filmed, I want to say it filmed in like 94 or 95. I mean, I'm not sure, somewhere in there. But it could have even been 93, I don't know. But I'd been working at doing these catalog shots, doing some B film and stuff like that, kind of getting my foot in the door, starting to get known a little bit. And all of a sudden, I answered the phone one day, and this is pre-internet, okay, where, you know, we had internet, we had AOL, but you didn't have search engines and things like that. You could talk to people and send an email, but that was about it. So I get a phone call one day. It says, hello, this is blah, blah, blah from Columbia Films. And I'm...
Whoa, what?
You know, and I go, yes, can I help you? And he goes, we need a groundhog for a movie, and we're going to film probably late February. I think this was probably November when they called me originally. And he goes, do you have that? I'd never had a groundhog. I'd never worked with a groundhog, but I said, oh, yeah, we can do that for you. And he goes, okay, great. We're probably going to do a production meeting, maybe mid-January. Would you be available to bring some groundhogs? I said, yes, sir. I would be available to bring you some groundhogs.
Fake it till you'll make it.
I hang up.
How do you find groundhogs?
Oh, I get my Rolodex out, you know, literally.
Groundhog dealers.
And there are no groundhog dealers, so I start calling all my animal friends that have zoos and things like this, and I start networking. Hey, I'm looking for some groundhogs. If they're tame, all that much better. I end up with about 20 of the meanest, most vicious groundhogs you have ever seen in your life, except for this one named Scooter. That's the one on the
Scooter.
steering wheel. And we literally had them in dog carriers, and I would suit up with the catcher's catcher's headpiece over my face.
Full
and
PPE.
Full welder's mitts all the way up to here, you know. And I would reach in, and they'd be in the back of the carrier. Like that. And I would reach in, and I would grab them, and I would pull them out, and I would go, okay, feed him. And that's how they would eat 3 times a day with somebody holding
man.
them. So we got them all tamed down pretty good, but what we didn't realize was that groundhogs will chew out pretty much anything. And so the first day of filming, we took 10 groundhogs up there, and we had them in the back of this white van, and we get up there, and we go to see, what do they need, and we're hanging out on the set. We're all cool, because we're the groundhog wranglers, and it's all really sweet and nice and all that. And we go back to get our first groundhog, and it looked like Mr. Scary's Village. Have you ever read Richard Scary's books? Well, that's it. Like 3 of them were playing cards over here, and a couple of them were riding exercise bicycles over here, and 2 of them were grocery shopping. I mean, they were all loose in the van. They had all eaten their way out, but now they're all mixed up because now we don't know which one's which because they all look alike. You know,
these things are like squirrels on steroids, right?
Yeah. So anyway.
So where? Okay, so I heard you're a little bit of a comedian. Tell me about that.
Well, we have like go for a minute and we'll wrap it up.
I accidentally ended up on America's Got Talent this year and got 4 yeses.
You accidentally?
I accidentally. Yeah, I didn't even try to get on America's Got Talent. They found me somehow. They sent me 2 emails. I thought they were scams, and I dumped them. And then they called me on the phone and said, we've been trying to reach you. And I thought it was an extended warranty. And I hung up on them, you know. And it was like, so I don't know. They really pursued me. And that was really cool. And I just ended up out there. And I did America's Got Talent.
Well, so if you want to view that video, go on YouTube and search for Corkey Miller, America's Got Talent. She's really funny. She did a good stand-up there. So that was fun.
Making me laugh.
Yeah. But we got to wrap it up. We're going to go and eventually get in the other room, and she's going to tell a little bit more about herself. And so thank you guys for listening and watching. And
if you want to find out more, come join us at the Chattanooga Filmmakers Guild.
Yeah, filmmakersguild.com.
Yep. All right. Yep. Anything you want to tell anybody before we go, Landon?
I don't think so. If you're interested in donating, we're a 501c3 nonprofit, so charitable. If you want to give charitably to the arts, we can. We'd appreciate that.
And give me a like on Corkey Miller at YouTube. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. That was fun.
Thank you.